Hello and welcome to Question Time. I'm Benga Ashiru. 3 years into the President Buhari administration, Nigeria's government finally launches its national carrier called Nigerian Air. In what should ordinarily be a bold leap from a sad commentary of the serial collapse of airline businesses in the country, the taking off of the Nigerian Air is enmeshed in a fierce backlash from stakeholders on what they termed marginalization of the rules of engagement. Despite the loud resentment, the Nigerian government says it's resuming operations by December 2018. In what seemed like a sad reminder of the comatose Nigerian Airways, ex-workers are also demanding compensation before the national carrier resumes operation. Will the federal government beat the December deadline takeoff date? In trying to steer away from this potential dilemma, Channels TV crew was at the Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority where we met with the Director General, Captain Mukhtar. Captain Mukhtar explains that the federal government is exploring the prospect of the bilateral air service agreement, which hitherto was lopsided in favor of the foreign airlines, while also engaging the services of transaction advisors to iron out the gray areas surrounding the coming on board of the national carrier. Welcome on board as we set forth this discuss with the Director General of the NCAA, Captain Mukhtar Usman. The Director General of the Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority, Captain Mukhtar. Thank you for joining us on this episode of Question Time.
Thank you very much, Agbenga.
Now, let's start from the introduction of the national carrier called Nigerian Air at the Farnborough in United Kingdom. There are so many issues to this. So, how is it going to work? What's the modus operandi of this the Nigerian Air carrier? Because there have been so many constraints, there have been so many controversy eliciting from this introduction. They feel that the very idea of taking it to Farnborough also resonates the fact that the major stakeholders, the union, were not carried along with the introduction of this Nigerian Air, which they believe is a sad reminder of the Nigerian Airways.
Let me take you back into the bilateral air service agreements that we have signed with several countries, whereby the other countries are taking advantage of those bilateral air services by deploying and operating in and out of Nigeria, while at the expense of the Nigerian side. Over the years, opportunities have been given to prospective airline operators to be able to fill in the gap that exists both for domestic and also for international. And we still find that there's a lot of gap, and that's why government is supporting the setting up of a carrier that will be truly national, private sector driven airline to take advantage of the bilateral, multilateral air service agreements, and also the single Africa air transport market.
Talking about the bilateral air service agreement, people are saying that out of the 70 agreements, that it's only 30 that is activated here. Could you substantiate this?
Well, what we are saying is that you sign an agreement, you negotiate, and it is for you to implement. And taking advantage of those negotiated agreements is what government wants to do now, because we've had all those agreements, and the other countries mostly have implemented their own side, because you designate a carrier or multiple carriers, depending on the kind of agreement, whether it is a single designation, dual designation, multiple designation, and also sometimes even point of entries, and so on and so forth.
Apart from the national air carriers, there are some other issues that need to be looked into in this bilateral air service agreement. But be that as it may, this doesn't provide a ground not to carry along the major stakeholders, the union, and the sector.
Well, it is my belief that everybody is being carried along. The role of the Civil Aviation Authority is to ensure that whatever is done in line with the regulation, in line with the international best practices.
Now, it's also on record that this national carrier is going to be over 95% private sector driven. I want you to confirm this.
Well, as I said, the role of the Civil Aviation Authority is to guide the process. We are not involved in the implementation.
But you would be regulated. You are like the umpire in
Correct.
the aviation sector.
Yes.
So I'm just trying to substantiate now that is it true that the private sector, that the national carrier will be over 95% private sector driven?
What I'm saying is the government has already appointed a transaction advisor.
Okay.
The process is ongoing. Whatever it is going to be transparent. This is the first time you're having this transparency, level of transparency, and this kind of PPP arrangement. The ICRC also is fully involved in this process. So it's certainly going to be transparent. And I don't have much details because it's an ongoing process.
Okay. I just want to ask that if it's going to be over 95% private sector driven, are we not pushing the cart before the horse? Because the airlines that would be taking over the Nigerian, the Nigerian carrier, the Nigerian Air, should be carried along. So if it's going to be private sector driven, but it appears now that up till this stage, it's still largely an entire government show.
As I said, consultations are going on. The process of procuring this project is ongoing. And at the right time, people will get to know what they need to know at the right time.
Okay. Do you think that the other airlines will be given a level playing ground to operate? Because they believe that whatever privilege that will be given to this national air carrier, that's one of their concerns, that it should also be extended to the other airlines.
Well, whatever this project or this new carrier is going to enjoy is already being enjoyed by the private